Okay, we're here outside Grandview Palace with one of the tenants who lost his home. Tell us who you are and tell us your story here, please.
My name is Eugene Matteries, and I was the one who brought the attention about the building's derelict state to the town, to our senators, to our assemblywoman, and to our district attorney, and also their attorney, Judge Rourke. As a result, they did everything possible to bully me and intimidate me because they didn't want to take care of the issue. Unfortunately, the new building code enforcement officer went in and found that there were so many violations. She had the DOS and the town had a consultant come in and take care of it. My problem with that is she never went and tried to find out why the building code officers did not do their investigations and let all of these violations continue over a 15-year period. Finally, what I would like to tell everybody is that the biggest problem of all is that the saddest part of all is this was known by everybody, but there was willful blindness, there was contrived ignorance, and there was constructed, just blatant efforts to cover this up. And I'm being approached by many big law firms out of New York City, Philadelphia, Boston, who want to represent me to sue both the town as well as Mr. Rajwan, the Israeli who is president, Ms. Dolores Lakosi, who is the treasurer, and as well as Mr. Ambrosio, the vice president. At this point, I am homeless, and this could have been completely avoided if the town and our assemblywoman and all of the public officials had listened to my warning, but instead they preferred to play a game and play along with the Grandview. And I believe that the building code enforcement should open an investigation into this building code enforcement office to find out why Alan Frischman, George Savaris, and Todd Burns were not doing their inspections and not writing up reports deliberately. And there is no file in the town. They can't. This building, in fact, when it was missing certificate of compliance, and Mr. Judge Rourke, who represents them, says that all these violations for the past 15 years should be accepted because they were grandfathered in. Whoever has ever heard of grandfathering in fire violations as well as building code violations? So unfortunately, this is the result of total negligence by the board and by the town and by the district attorney, by the Vincent Bradley, the Attorney General's office out of Poughkeepsie, our district attorney, Mr. Farrell, his investigator, Mr. Rowan. All of these people should be held accountable for this negligence, this corruption, and they should immediately terminate and immediately bring in their resignation, because people were living in a situation which didn't have to be this way, and they had absolutely no concern about human life.
So you had personally contacted the district attorney's office and the building code and the senators and the Congress people.
Yes, I got both Senator Schumer and I got Senator Gillibrand. They didn't want to do anything. I got a hold of Assemblywoman Eileen Gunther. She didn't want to do anything. I contacted Steve Vigliotti, the town supervisor. He didn't want to do anything about it. I contacted their lawyer, Mr. Billings. He didn't want to do anything about it. They basically covered their eyes, even when they trumped up this decision to cancel the town meeting and they were going to have some agreement with the Grandview. They knew about this building being condemned and unlivable since November 2011. We are now in April 2012, and look at the result of what supposedly was negotiated between the town and the board. This is absolutely a travesty. It's disgusting. And as far as Sullivan County is concerned, it's shame on you, shame on you. And you really, really, really are disgusting. And the town people should hang their heads and resign, especially Judge Rourke, especially Judge Meadows, and especially the assemblywoman, the town supervisor, the town lawyer. And if Schumer is so concerned about New York City, maybe he should come up here and look what he did after I had to speak to this woman named Maxine for weeks and weeks and weeks and sent them picture after picture after picture of the violations, and they completely ignored me. So now, let the games begin.
Were you the only tenant here complaining, making these complaints?
I was the only one who was very vocal about it. If you look, you'll see several articles where I was very vocal on with the Record that picked it up when the building was officially condemned. And again, they tried to paint me as a troublemaker. Veglianti said that I was a bully, as if one person could bully an entire town, an entire county. Assemblywoman Gunther, I have her on emails. All she did was she had some woman call me from her office and said thank you for sharing, and didn't do anything, because she says that this is basically the way it is in Sullivan County. Why do we have these single candidate incumbents who basically stay in year after year and do nothing but take our tax money, and look at the result of it? When I tried to get other people involved, the problem was that they were afraid, they were too old. Many said, you are going too strong, you're too much of an activist. We know these people, they're friends, etc., etc. Well, you know what? Your friends screwed you. And now you've gotten paid back, because you said that you didn't want to pay any higher assessments and any more higher maintenance. You could live with the grandfathered in violations, both building and fire code. So if you're homeless, good luck.
What? You mentioned that the building, this complex was condemned. Can you give me more detail on that briefly?
I had my toilet had stuffed up, and they were trying to build a case against me that I had done something about my toilet. And in fact, what it is that in this building it was so old, that you had many units that had overflowing toilets, because they would stop up. The plumbing was old and stop up. Molly Messenger at that point, after having heard about me and just joining the force in the fall, she came over basically to see what was going on. She made a cursory view. What I mean by that is she just walked through in one day, and she saw all these violations that Alan Frischman and George Savaris claimed they couldn't see, because when they came, when they showed up, they always came unannounced and made sure that they didn't meet with me to show them what I had photographed and sent to them. She comes here, she says there's all these violations. Her boss, Dan Nichols, who is the regional Department of State Building Code Enforcement, sends an email to the town saying, this looks very serious. Well, Steve Veglianti wasn't happy with that. So what he did was he got the DOS. Now he has 2 reports that say the building should be condemned. Then Steve Veglianti isn't happy with that, so he gets a consultant called Key Associates, who they do a cursory, very, they were just making just basic observations. And what they had seen and what happened was the boilers were underneath condominiums, and there was wood, so that the sparks from the boiler, and this had been going on for years, and that was supposed to be fixed. What happened was those sparks finally hit that ceiling with the wood, and last night it practically blew up. As a result, this thing just went up. It was like a matchstick. You actually have here about 4 or 5 wings that have all been destroyed. There are many people in this area who, how can I put it, they're just not activist oriented. They don't want to get involved. But this is the problem. When you don't get involved, you you end up feeling the results. And I'm not ashamed of what I did. I think that Judge Rourke is absolutely out of bounds when he said that this was grandfathered in. The other thing I don't like is he said that the investigations were basically copycats, that nobody had said anything original, that they all found the same problems, and therefore the inspections were really not valid because the inspections were just like they had copied Molly Messenger's and then the DOS copied hers. And I don't think it's that case. What they were saying was that with the naked eye, they could see all the negligence and all the problems without even spending weeks doing a study here.
Okay, so what are you going to do now? Where are you going to go?
Well, I'm homeless right now.
Where'd you stay last night?
Stayed with my parents in New Jersey. My insurance company said that I could stay in a hotel, but I have 4 dogs, so I can't do that. So I'm going to stay with my parents, and as I said, I hope to decide on which law firm, because I'm going to use some very big guns to get this corruption out of Sullivan County.
Are all your records of this investigation destroyed in the fire?
So, most of them are, but luckily I kept everything in writing on my email. So I have all of these emails. Also, I sent to another owner named Jackie Borak. She has copies as well as a backup. So I had already, by complete chance, have a way to retrieve all of this information.
All right.